All right, now joining me for I think it's a record now, the 100th interview with SCNS Live. We have Tiffany. How you doing?
I'm number 100 interviewee.
Yeah, yeah.
Where's the confetti and the balloons and you're the 100th customer.
We had all that pomp and circumstance, but we miscounted and thought it was on the 99th one. So
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, when do you do that? How does it?
I don't.
Oh,
We
I
really
gotcha.
we really messed up on the logistics of it all, and then
I
we
get that.
figured, you know what, it had to be the 100th, and then we forgot the net. So
That's okay.
that's our bad. But we're here at Table.
Hello.
Hi. So tell us about Table.
Table is a venue, we call it an expo. It's for tabletop and board game learning expo. And the whole point is to help non-gamers game with gamers. You get to meet some industry designers, you get to meet with industry experts, you get to see some really cool vendors. A lot of indie game companies are here too. And you know what, one thing that was brought up to me today that I didn't even think about. Not only is it new people, but it's people that are struggling with rules in games. They're bringing their games to table to learn from gamers, these games that they want to play and love. I thought that was like so cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. We were walking by to like all these different tables, and they were just telling you, hey, actually, if you do this and you do this, it was really cool to watch.
Yeah, they're all helping each other out, and that's what Table is all about. It's very laid back. There's not a whole heck of a lot of structure, though we are going to work on getting more structure in future venues so that people can register for games. But this weekend was really laid back. You just kind of show up and you play. We had events planned like game design and meet the guests, and we have a poker event that we're raising funds for Head Start. It's Head Start helps underprivileged children get a head start in school.
Makes sense.
So, and we're doing all kinds of stuff like that. Lots of people giving away games. It's just awesome. It's just a total feel-good kind of vibe going on. I like it.
Yeah, it's been incredible so far. Everything that we've seen, we've got to talk to Martin Jones, his stuff
He's
is
phenomenal.
amazing.
He is phenomenal. He's one of those guys that not only has the talent and the skill set, the expertise, and the years of experience, but he's got this big, huge, generous heart. His entire company, Invictus, is all about charity. I mean, yeah.
That was incredible to hear his story and about all of that, and George R.R. Martin, which was kind of a fun little thing he told us about. So
Yes, he did get to do some work for him. Yes.
it's kind of cool. And we also got to talk to the guys over at Boardcraft too. So you've got a whole eclectic amount of people
Yes,
here,
yeah.
and it's brilliant.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it all works, and we're all getting along, and it's just so much fun. And yeah, and I'm looking forward to the poker tournament. I've been practicing online.
Have you? How much money have you lost?
Well, not real money.
Oh, okay.
But it's an interesting behavioral that happens online because all these kiddos, younger kids, well, younger than me, anybody's a kiddo compared to me, but they're all playing and they're all in before they even see the dealer's cards. And I'm like, oh, I just want to rage whenever I see that. And I'm like, why? I just keep calm. Why?
Yeah.
Why? And then I go ahead and play anyway, and I lose money like that, but I am still ahead. I am still winning even with that going on. But yeah, it's been real fascinating to learn the difference between world poker players 10 years ago to the way they play now. So I've been kind of learning that trending right there, and it's real interesting. It's so fascinating.
So is it Texas Hold'em? Is that what we're?
We're going to do Texas Hold'em
Okay.
because we don't have to rely so much on a dealer, and it's the one poker game that everybody knows.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
really easy, so yeah.
Yeah, that one's probably the easiest poker game. And
Yeah.
do y'all still have openings?
No, not anymore. I'm sorry.
Dang it! Gosh.
We have all of us have poker bios too. That's being moderated by Brian. He's a middle school science teacher. In fact, he's my kid's middle school science teacher, and he does all the school announcements and stuff. So he's going to help talk about the poker, and they're going to he's probably going to do stuff like, oh, she played that, and he'll explain why it was a bad move, and it'll be great. And then the audience gets to feel bad for me. They'll chip more money in to keep me in the game because I'm losing money anyway, and all that money goes to Head Start.
That's a brilliant idea. My God, it's a vicious circle of just money.
Yeah. To help kids. So yeah.
So how much work do you do to get Table up and running?
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of behind the scenes. It's a lot of web updating. My cousin did a lot of the work with the website. It's getting registration, it's getting the badges, pulling all that data out from the website and spilling it into badges. We have pre-reg printed badges. We try to make it really, really easy. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder. Here's
We got
mine.
an old dice on here.
You see mine?
Yes.
I have a unicorn on mine.
I believe that's the last unicorn.
It is the last unicorn with the rainbow hair, but you know.
Yeah.
So you have to see my cousin's name badge to really get the full circle of the joke, but there is a joke to it. But yeah, we're having a good time with it. No, why not? We're making badges like late Thursday night.
Oh my gosh.
Late. We got
Yeah,
it
you might
done.
as well have some fun with it, right?
Oh yeah. We got delirious with sleep deprivation, and we're like, I want a unicorn on my badge, and they're like, oh, that's a great idea.
Get to the printer.
It was bad.
Oh man. Well, I know you're busy. I know you've got a whole lot of stuff going on, and a lot more events happening. So I'll let you go. But thank you so much for
Thanks,
talking.
everyone.
Yeah.
Online.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye. Appreciate
right.
it. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm here with the Martin Jones with Invictus. Martin, you create a lot of you sculpt a lot of gorgeous artwork. How did you get started in this?
Well, I started on it by being a kid and growing up with Play-Doh and being artistic that way, and repainting my Hot Wheels. And we found a game store that sold miniatures, and well, the rest is history. And now I do it for a living.
So when did Invictus start?
Today is actually the first day Invictus is real. We have applied for our LLC and all of that, and hopefully we will be a 501 charity.
Wow, that's incredible. So how can people? What exactly does Invictus do? Are you able to do commission, or do you do a lot of stuff just for charity?
We would like to do commissions for charity, and to do other charity pieces as well. Currently, we're working with Clash for the Cure. I have 3 pieces that are going to be raffled for. I think their proceeds are going to American Cancer Society. Last year I did one, and I think it raised about $2,000 for one piece. So I'm doing 3 pieces this year for them. But yes, every portion of everything we sell or commission or anything like that will be going to several different charities.
Now, you've done this for a long time, and I got to ask, which one is your favorite piece that you've worked on?
My favorite piece, that's hard to say. I like all of them. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think I'm working on it right now. It's a female predator that I've sculpted.
Oh, cool. Is it that one right there?
I don't know if you can see it, but
We can get it close. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, and I love it. I love the definition of it all, because I mean, miniature work it's not easy to get that, right?
no, it's not.
That is gorgeous. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. Obviously, it's a work in progress.
Obviously, I mean, I guess you got to go into color and detail as far as that's concerned.
Right.
Yeah. So, now one incredible thing that you are involved with as well is you do some work with George R.R. Martin. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, myself and several other painters from around the world, he commissions to paint some of his stuff. If anybody knows, he's got actually 2 houses. The second house is where he works out of, and instead of having kitchens and bathrooms and closets, he has miniature display cases and dioramas made out of them. I'd say a dozen or so people paint for him at this point, probably more. But it's pretty incredible just being surrounded by that many miniatures.
So, what kind of stuff do you do for him?
Right now, I've been putting it off for quite a long time, but it's a mounted knight, and it's jousting. But it was so broken and beaten up that I've had to fix it. I had to completely replace the lance and the shield on it, and drill pins and stuff, so that the horse, which is supposed to be rearing up, would actually stand up. It's so heavy that the metal it bends when it just sits there.
Man, that must be some kind of project for you then.
Yeah, it's pretty big. I'd say the horse is about 8 inches long, and the joust, the whole thing, is on a plaque, a base. It's about that big around. So yeah, it's pretty big.
That's incredible. How did you get involved with him at all?
Friend of a friend. I was talking with Ann Forrester up at Reaper, where I used to work, and she said, "Hey, this guy named George wants you to paint for him," and that's when I found out it was George R. R. Martin. And so we started talking. He's like, "Hey, I can pay you in cash or books that I've written." Well, cash is good. So I went with the cash.
Perfect. That's always the best choice. Yeah. So where can people, because, first day of Invictus, where can people reach you?
Facebook is Invictus Miniatures. I'm also at Invictus_Minis on Twitter, Invictus_Miniatures on Instagram, and www.invictus-miniatures.com.
All right, perfect. Well, guys, check him out. He's got amazing work. We're about to show you a couple more, some of his pieces, so check it out. And Martin, thank you so much. Appreciate it. With Todd Porter with Boardcraft, and he's talking about his new game, Necrovirus. So tell us about Boardcraft, because this is a whole new concept that is really it's starting up and it's really cool.
Yeah, so what we decided is to try to go into a space where we could actually build our own board games using 3D printers. And the first steps of that was to get a system that was unified, that we knew that if we could build models for it, they would always work. And we have a system that we call our Secure Connect boards that you plug all the models into. And if you've seen the 3D models of Boardcraft, it's a pretty amazing technology. You can 3D print full color, you can 3D print plastic. It depends on your budget and what you want to do, but the resultant models are pretty amazing in detail. And the whole concept is that we want to have people go to Boardcraft, and whether you're interested in Necrovirus or you're interested in Dungeons and Dragons, want to buy fantasy dungeon, high-detailed fantasy dungeons that have been printed in 3D, or if you're into Warhammer, you want to buy space locations that are highly detailed, we want you to come and share with the community. And the idea is that the community shares with each other, they buy from each other, and we basically enhance the entire community as a result. And of course, it's really cool to be able to go online, go to the store, buy a game, get home, go online, get all the pieces for the game, be able to 3D print replacements or new pieces or new things, change the rules, etc. And that's really what Boardcraft's about.
That's incredible. So I have to ask, how did this come about? How did y'all figure this out? Were you just bored with traditional board games and just decided, let's make our own thing?
Well, yeah, so I was president of my gaming society in college in the 80s, in the early 80s. And so I was playing the early days of Chainmail and Dungeons and Dragons, etc. And then when I got out of college, I went into digital gaming. So I worked for Iron Storm here in Dallas and worked for Origin Systems and did games with Chris Roberts and Richard Gary at the Ultima series, the Wing Commander, etc. So I came from a digital background, newly, but really a traditional gaming background. And so once I had sold my last company, I said, well, what do I want to do now? And I thought, I'm going to read more about this 3D printing, because 3D printing really gives you the tools that mean that you will never have to hand paint something again, and I'm horrible at that. So I said, I've got to figure out how to do this. But coming from my gaming side, I said, well, let's use technology to build a game where people can start playing again like the old days, where you play with each other as opposed to amongst each other. I mean, my kids, they play amongst each other. They don't really play with each other. Now they can print out a game and play with each other around a tabletop. And so we started out, and I started looking at it and saying, well, how do we do this so it's unified, so the scale is right, so the pieces don't move around on the table, and really that's how we grew out the system. And then we raised some money to get the thing off the ground, and we said with the idea that we're going to kickstart and try to get the word out, try to get as many gamers involved, because obviously this will work even better if we can get a lot of 3D printer guys and gamers hooked up, because on our site, for instance, we could do geolocation, and so you could say, okay, my guy down the street can print these models for me, and he could be offering his wares, and you can say, okay, well, I'm going to print my models. He prints them out, and that afternoon you're gaming with all your models on the table. So we know this is where it's all going, and we're actually seeing this huge emergence of 3D printing. And 3D printing, in my view, is a technology looking for a market, and this is a rabid market that will, I mean, you talk about the millions of cubic centimeters of material that this community will print. It's truly amazing. I mean, you know, right now I'm printing 64 zombies on a 3D printer at 20 microns in full color, and those will be done in 6 hours. Now think about this, done in 6 hours, and they're going to be a little less than 1 inch tall and ready to go. I don't have to paint them, I can take them off the display, and they're ready to be put in the game, and they're full color with vibrant colors of blood, etc. It's pretty amazing.
That is incredible. And we're on the topic of zombies, so why don't we go on to Necrovirus? Tell us about the game Necrovirus.
Well, Necrovirus is actually inspired by, I used to listen to actually read a thing which was Day by Day Armageddon, okay? And so Day by Day Armageddon by J.L. Bourne was, like I called it, the kind of the litmus test for, modern day zombie stories, right? It was, what I like about it the most was that it was very, very kind of true to the old, George Romero zombie movies, of the shambling zombies. But I love the detail he put into it. And so I didn't want to approach the zombie, that if I was going to make a game like that, I wanted to be more serious about it. So unlike Zombicide, which we love and we play, I wanted to make our game be more miniatures based, be designed by guys who come from the older generation of miniature gaming, but have this kind of fun, fast-paced play, but be very serious. And that's really what Necrovirus has a lot more serious feel to it. It's a lot more, a lot less playful, a lot more serious on that side. So really in the end, and you can see people have been playing this thing now for 2 days, and our table's never empty. So we have a huge audience that's growing now every day, and I think when people play the game, they'll get the idea that it's different, completely different than Zombicide, and I think gives you a different experience in that.
And I think with other shows like Walking Dead and other zombie stuff, you're getting a lot of people who want that realistic feel in a game, and now you've got this in a board game.
Yeah, and I think the key thing to it is that we went with 2 different paradigms that were really hard to satisfy. We said, well, first of all, if you get bitten one time, you're out of the game. How do you make a game compelling when you can't get injured and recover? You're dead, you're out. And so we did that, and we said we also want the zombies to be shamblers, not to be sprinters, but just one type of zombie, traditional. Keep the traditional, Day by Day Armageddon feel. And it was a real challenge to get both of those mechanics to be long-staying and playing, but we've spent now almost a year in refinement on the game, and so you're seeing the benefit of having guys who've been designing games for 50 years, and we're talking about 50 years. My guys are 64 and 65 years old. These are good designers. And just blending that with kind of still making it be, we've got cards, so it's got elements of the new and elements of the old, and I think it really blends a great experience.
Now, where can people get a game like Necrovirus?
Well, we Kickstarter in June, and part of the Kickstarter will be offering, obviously, Necrovirus at the lower levels, the 2D version of the game. But what's interesting is the 2D version comes with the boards that are ready for 3D models. So you start out 2D, but you can start replacing your pieces with the 3D pieces. So they just seamlessly plug in. Another element behind BoardCraft that's really cool is the fact that you build the board before you play, and that kind of at a 4x4 inch level means you can really control what the board looks like. And so we know that, and because the boards all connect, you keep printing them out ad infinitum. Like we play on a board that's 4 foot by 6 foot. But we've also printed out boards that are 10 foot by 12 feet. So you can pretty much build as big a board experience as you want, yeah. And that's kind of what we want to do, is give gamers the ability to expand their system. And the other cool thing is that, let's say that you have a bunch of terrain tiles and I have a bunch of water tiles. We can get together and create a whole new game. So you can say, okay, I'm going to bring all my medieval pieces. You bring your zombie pieces, and we'll create a zombie medieval game, right? I mean, that's the whole nature of what we're trying to get here, is get people the tools to be able to design their own games.
So this is truly a communal game, like probably one of the first board games that would be communal.
I think the things that are unique about it are that we really want to do it so that the community grows, because we're old-time gamers. We don't. I mean, in the old-time game business, everybody was friends. I mean, you just wanted to see what the new guy created. We're all fans of each other's stuff, right? So we don't play that game of mine's better than yours. I'm not going to say Necrovirus is better than Zombicide, is better than Zombies, is better. I'm saying it's different. It's a different experience, and that's what we want to see. But I think the other thing is that we can't succeed unless there's a rabid community creating new tiles and new things. And I said, look, in our system, it's an ecosystem. So if you pay an artist to design a tile, and or if you pay Martin, for instance, so I think you guys interviewed a little bit ago, if you pay Martin, you pay him to craft a model, carve it up and sculpt it, and then paint it, you're going to be in about $300. But if you offer that model for sale in our community for $4 and they can print it on their 3D printers, you might get 1,000 people. So now you've invested $300 and you've got $16,000 coming out of it. That's the experience we want. Not high prices, but massive community that supports keeping everything affordable. Because everybody has a budget when they're gaming, and we want to make sure we're playing to that budget. And I think that's what we're really saying, is like, if you want to print it on your own printer, print it there. If you want to print it on one of our partners that's local, print it there. If you want to print it on one of our partners that's global, we'll send you a box set and you're ready to go. And you're going to see that kind of thing on our Kickstarter, where you're building your game experience based on what the options are that you chose. And that's kind of the flexibility of the system.
Well, Todd, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. I'm really excited for this game. That's an amazing, exceptional
you, yeah.
product you have. So guys, check out boardcraft.com and also donate, starting in June, to their Kickstarter for Necrovirus. Get it.
Thank
you
you
again. Appreciate it.